X-rays, as we all know, can create pictures of inside of our body. We get the image in different shades of black and white. And this is because different tissue absorbs different amount of radiation. Calcium in bones absorb X-ray the most, so bones look white. Fat and other soft tissues absorbs comparatively less amount of radiation and hence it looks grey. Air absorbs the least, and that is why in an X-ray, lungs look black. Conventional X-rays are more like photographic negatives. In this video, you will be introduced to the basics for the interpretation of cervical spine X-ray. Here, we will be dealing with the standard views, anatomy, and a systematic approach for the interpretation of X-ray cervical spine. Let's get started. Speaking about the standard views of a cervical spine X-ray, we have lateral view, the AP view or the antero-posterior view, odontoid or the open mouth view. Let's identify some anatomical structures in the lateral view. In lateral view, the first fully formed vertebral body is the C2 vertebral body. As you count down to the thoracic vertebra, check that the cervicothoracic junction is clearly visible. If not, a repeat examination is required. So the following are the structures seen in the lateral view of a cervical spine X-ray. First is the C1 anterior and posterior arch. In each vertebra, look for the vertebral body, the articular process, which are the projections of vertebra that serve the purpose of fitting with the adjacent vertebra, and the actual region of contact is called the articular facet. Moving on, look for the lamina, which is the flattened or arched part of the vertebral arch, the spinous process, which are the bony projections in the posterior part of each vertebra. Next, check the very important intervertebral disc space, which is the space between adjacent vertebrae. Identify the soft tissues anterior to the vertebral body and identify the trachea. We have the vertebra prominence, which is the name of the 7th cervical vertebra. The most distinctive characteristic of this vertebra is the existence of long and prominent spinous process, which is palpable from the skin surface and hence the name. Now let's identify some anatomical structures seen in an AP view of a cervical spine X-ray. Usually, the upper portion of the cervical spine is obscured by the overlying mandible. Here also, look for the vertebral body, the intervertebral disc space, spinous processes. Identify the soft tissues, lungs, and ribs. In the open mouth view or odontoid view, first, identify the C2 vertebral body. Identify the odontoid process. Identify C1 and C2 lateral masses. And the joint space between C1 and C2, which is called the atlantoaxial joint or the C1-C2 joint. And finally, identify the mandible. While looking at an X-ray, it is important to follow a systematic approach, and the easiest way is the ABCDE's approach, where A stands for alignment, B for vertebral body, C for cortical outline, D for disc space, and E for the edges and soft tissues. First, let's have a look at the cervical spine X-ray lateral view. Alignment of spine in a lateral view is assessed by checking some lines. First is the anterior vertebral line, which is formed by joining the anterior margin of vertebral bodies. Next is the posterior vertebral line, formed by joining the posterior margin of the vertebral bodies, which is also known as the George's line. And third is the spinolaminar line, which is formed by joining the posterior margin of spinal canal. And lastly, we have the posterior spinous line, formed by joining the tips of spinous processes. These lines should follow a slightly lordotic curve, smooth and without step-offs. The spinal cord lies between the posterior spinous line and the spinolaminar line. Check for the C1-C2 space. It should be less than 3 mm in adults and less than 5 mm in children. Next, B for the vertebral body. Check the height of each vertebral body. Make sure each vertebral body corresponds to its spinous process. Moving on to C for cortical outline. Trace the cortical outline of each vertebra for any fracture. Next, D for this space is the space between each vertebrae, and it should be more or less of same height. And the E's indicate edges and soft tissues. Evaluate the thickness of soft tissues anterior to the vertebral body. Anterior to C3 vertebral body, the thickness should not be greater than 7 mm, and anterior to C6, the thickness should not be greater than 22 mm in adults and should not be greater than 14 mm in children less than 15 years. Moving on to the anterior-posterior view. Alignment is proper when the lateral edges of the vertebral bodies forms continuous parallel line, and also the spinous processes should be spaced evenly and should form a straight line. Assess the height of vertebral bodies. Just as before, check the cortical outline for any fracture. Check the intervertebral disc space, edges and soft tissues. In odontoid view, alignment is normal when the lateral masses are aligned in the same plane. Space between lateral masses of C1 or C2 with the odontoid process should be equal. For body and cortical outline, identify and trace the entire C2 vertebra. For edges and soft tissues, assess for any obvious fracture in mandible. In summary, once you recognize a radiograph as cervical spine X-ray, identify the view, recollect the normal anatomical structures, and use our ABCDE's method for a systematic approach for interpretation. Hope the content is clear, and thank you for your time and attention.